Okay, in these problems, we're going to use the rules of the derivatives again, but this time we're going to pull the information from a graph. So we want to find h prime of x at all the values that I've listed below. So if h of x is f of x plus g of x, the rule says when we're just adding or subtracting, I'm just going to go ahead and take the derivative of each piece separately. And in this problem, I want to know what happens at 4. So let's go ahead and plug in the 4 for x. And we're going to find this information from the table. So I need f prime of 4. This black line here is the graph of f. At 4, we need to figure out the slope because that's what f prime is. It's the slope of the graph of f. So I can count down 3 to the right 2. So f prime of 4 is -3/2. I'm going to do the same thing for g. I need to find g prime of 4, which is the red graph. And 4 is right here, so the slope is +2/3. And you can actually leave your answer like this. If you wanted to combine it, it actually ends up being -5/6. This is take 2 times f of x. When we have a constant multiple in the front, when we take the derivative, we just keep multiplying by that number. So I need to find 2 times f prime of 3. Again, f is this black graph here that's given. Notice at 3, it's a corner, and one of the things that we learned is that a corner, the derivative does not exist. So it doesn't matter that a 2 is in the front. F prime of 3 does not exist, so this whole answer would be does not exist. Okay, this one is your chain rule again. So let's take our general derivative first. We take the derivative of the outside, inside stays the same, times the derivative of the inside. I want to know what happens at 6, so let's plug in the 6. So first thing I have to figure out is what is f of 6? F of 6 is just the y-coordinate on this f graph, which is exactly 2. So this is 2. So I'm going to replace that with 2. So now I need to find g prime of 2 and f prime of 6 and multiply those two values together. G is the red graph. So notice that 2, it's a horizontal line. The slope of a horizontal line is just 0, so it really doesn't matter what the second piece is. 0 times anything will just give me 0. The next piece is your product rule. So the rule says we take the derivative of the first times the second plus the derivative of the second times the first. And I'm going to go ahead and plug in 6. G of 6 plus g prime of 6, f of 6. And I'm going to find all these values from the table. So f prime of 6 is the slope of the f graph at 6. So at 6, which is right here, the slope is going to be up 2 to the right 2. So that looks like that's 1. G of 6 is just the y value of this graph at 6. So at 6, g of 6 is just exactly 9. And then g prime of 6 is the slope of the g graph at 6, but we have a corner. So this does not exist. So it really doesn't matter what the rest of this is. One piece does not exist, so all of this does not exist.